My next patron question is from Ms. Zombie Blaster, who wanted me to compare two biopics centered on a famous singer. Which do you think was a better representation about the life of the Latin singer Selena, the 1997 movie starring Jennifer Lopez or the Netflix series starring Christian Serratos? Before I give my answer, I have to confess I did not have much familiarity with Selena before watching this movie and show. I now, of course, understand she is extremely important to Latin American music fans, and what happened to her was a huge tragedy. However, it's clear I watch these from the perspective of an outsider to her work, so that's something to keep in mind when I talk about them. I also only watched the first season of the Netflix series, primarily for time reasons. So did I prefer the movie or the show? I'm actually going to pick the show. The show does have the advantage of having more time to explore Selena and her family. I did feel I got to know them over the course of these 9 episodes, and the series was able to explore each step they take in forming this band and the obstacles and successes they come across. Selena is obviously the main focus, but I also like how much time you spend with her sister and brother. Her sister Suzette's arc especially stood out to me, as she recognizes her own importance as the band's drummer, and I like seeing the relationship between her and Selena. I also liked how the show explored her brother AB attempting to choose and write the songs that the band would sing. The show finds the right balance with Abraham, as he's depicted as overly controlling and a bit of a micromanager, but we also understand his point of view on several occasions. Only the mother, Marcella, seems to get sidelined a bit, as she's mostly portrayed as the typical supportive mother and wife, but that's largely it. However, with 5 family members to focus on, I understand it's difficult to give everyone equal attention, and the writers do try their best. The series is able to show how this family deals with the usual issues, like financial worries, while also having the challenge of turning this band into a huge success. The show also gives quite a bit of attention to her fan base at times, which gives a further idea beyond the performing scenes for why Selena y Los Dinos became such a sensation among fans of Tejano music. I thought Christian Serratos gave a good performance as Selena. She does particularly well in depicting her teenage years as she tries to balance becoming a famous singer with growing up. I often complain about musician biopic cliches, and while a few pop up here, the television series format allows it to better space those out so they're less noticeable and bothersome. The movie, on the other hand, I thought succumbed to many of the tropes of the genre, along with some other decisions I did not think worked. For one thing, most of the beginning of the film is focused a lot more on Abraham than on Selena. The way he's depicted here also makes him come across as rather unlikable. I guess it's admirable he allowed the filmmakers to portray his jerkier side, but it just made me feel bad for Selena and her siblings for how they're treated. Somewhere I felt the film disappointed was the lack of the creative process. There's little indication of what inspired Selena and what drove her beyond just extending her father's own music dreams. A significant part of the plot involves her romance with her guitarist husband. I did not think they exhibited much chemistry, and the conflict that arises from her father's disapproval is resolved very quickly. The movie attempts to cram her entire life into 2 hours, and that also created a problem for me as we have the tired biopic format of this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but with little flow between scenes. Everyone just felt underdeveloped to me. I do think one of the high points of the movie comes from Jennifer Lopez's performance. Selena is not given the most three-dimensional portrayal here, but Lopez is able to deliver strong work and, unsurprisingly, excels during the concert scenes. I also think they handled her death well in this. The film was released only 2 years after she was murdered, so it was still a very fresh memory for her fans. As a result, they don't show it, nor do they dwell on it, which is smart, because the movie is not about her death. It was meant to be a celebration of her life and why her music resonated with so many. That does mean the film comes across as a bit sanitized and glossy, but it's at least understandable when reading up in its production. It is interesting that the family decided to produce 2 biopics decades apart about her, although her sister Suzette was a lot more heavily involved with the series, which might be another explanation for why she's given more development there. Now let me know in the comments whether you prefer the movie or the Netflix series, and I'm particularly interested in reading the opinions of Selena fans who will likely have their own perspective. Thank you for the question, Ms. Zombie Blaster.